very, very good atmosphere also when we're shooting.
Right.
Because that can happen as well. If there's a big crew, if there's a lot of equipment, if they are sort of, constrained by all these things and schedules and people yelling. And sometimes I feel that production people are not too sensitive to actors' needs.
Right. Well said, right on target. Because you have to be locked in the zone.
And sometimes you get that on shoots. There's like people running around, sort of like yelling at each other, asking for things. And that's always been like a big struggle for me on shoots, to sort of get crew to understand that like that really, really doesn't help actors keep their focus. Right. And that it doesn't make them feel like the situation is actually happening. It puts them on a film set and it makes them nervous, and it's very difficult to work that way.
Right. It is good you understand the process. Certainly you do, because like I said, even the camera work, Esteban Chinchilla, right? A camera is so essential. It becomes a character, obviously, but it's so smooth, and it's black and white. Let's talk about him a little bit, please, because God, he deserves the credit.
Yeah. So he's a stills photographer. When I contacted him, he'd never worked on film or video.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
And I really like his stills work. A lot of it is in black and white, and that's part of the reason that I sort of started thinking of working black and white. And it was a very simple shoot. We each had one camera, so we both did the photography. We each had one Canon 5D, the very small, stills and video camera.
Right.
And sometimes we weren't even aware of what the other one was shooting. We were somewhat aware, but we didn't control each other too much. We were sort of each doing our own thing. And I think that was also good. It was like not as controlled and as planned as you would have it on a shoot sometimes.
Right.
We just sort of let ourselves experiment and try things out.
Yeah, willing to play, willing to learn, willing to fall, willing to make a mistake.
Yep.
You have to be
and there
willing.
were many mistakes made, but that's what editing is for.
Right, exactly. So that's the beauty. It was, like I said, I'm kind of like even wondering about the creative process. I know that you lost your friend, right? And you have to pretty much took a year off.
Even more.
Even more than that. It was Hemingway used to say something really beautiful. That my father, who was a big fan of Hemingway, he says, Sissy, sometimes we have to learn to just leave the work alone and not touch it. Whether you're writing a play, writing a script, you're making a film, just give it a break and don't touch it, because a lot of things can come out.
Yeah.
Did this happen to you?
In this case, it wasn't planned. I didn't do it for the film. I don't know what would have happened if if Elena hadn't died and I hadn't sort of gone into this thing where I just stopped working for almost 3 years.
3 years.
For almost 3 years.
It didn't scare you when you stopped for 3 years?
It scared me a lot. Because it was like, for a while I've never been so sad in my life. And I never thought, I wouldn't, it's the kind of thing you don't think it's going to happen to you. You think something like that is going to happen and you're going to be able to deal with it and everything. But then days go by that you just feel like there's no point in doing anything. And for a while it was like that, and it was very, very, very scary. And then, I don't know, just one day I sort of saw it again. Katia, the actress who's also a producer on the film, she encouraged me very much to send it out to sort of work in progress things and everything. And I hadn't even looked at it for a while. And I sort of picked it up and looked at it, and I realized that it was this film we'd sort of made amongst, friends, and sort of just, we thought it would be a fun little story and everything. But seeing it after this event that changed me in such a big way, it kind of felt like it wasn't just a fun little project. This is something I very much believe in. This is something I very much believe in, that like these special connections that we have with people, that sometimes we can't hold on to them for a very long time, but that's it. That's all we get, in life. And when I saw that in the film, it really motivated me to finish it and to put it out there.
Yeah.
So
it's a very special, sacred connection there, because it is like I said, private, intimate, powerful. Two actors, the camera, black and white, and then the actors, and then the close-up, and then his close-up, then her close-up, then the shot, and then you jumping from one cut to another, and then the close-up and close-ups. I mean, it's how long is the film? It's about
70 minutes.
It doesn't seem like a long time, but it's a lot. It's a lot, and it's a lot going on too. Even though that it might seem that, wait a minute, it's only two characters, you kind of like, you never wait for another character to arrive. And that's very interesting. Sometimes when you see those two films, with two character films, you're expecting to have
something else happen.
Something else happening, or somebody else come into the picture. And it doesn't happen, and you don't need it. You don't need it, because it's like we are watching through a window, and we're seeing, private behavior, very private behavior taking place in front of you. And I think that's a skill for any director, to be that intimate with the actor. That's what I applaud. And I said it to Barbara, wow, she's good, because you have the skill, and certainly to be in Tribeca is going to be a huge thrill for you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's been great. It's been amazing. I've really enjoyed the festival, and I was really sort of flattered and surprised to see the reviews that we've had here in the New York Times.
The New York Times. Yes.
Hollywood Reporter and everything. Everybody seems to love the film, and that's just it's amazing. It's really good.
Back home, when you're going back home Friday, you said.
Yes.
What's going to happen over there when you go back?
In what sense?
In terms of the film, in terms of what's happening here?
Well, we already played in cinemas back home, a somewhat different version. It's a slightly longer version.
Okay.
And
how was the response?
The response was good. Like people that went to the cinema liked it. We got a lot of good reactions from people, but not that many people went. I don't know exactly what happened, if it was like the marketing didn't work, or
right.
A lot of some people think that it was like the black and white put people off, like it's not so usual, and it might have seemed like maybe too artsy for people, I don't know. But then also the reviews, we got some good reviews, but some not very good reviews. So overall it was like a so-so experience, and then coming here and seeing like such a good response.
Given that, Ryan, I'm giving you direction, baby. Maybe we can put her name on the lower thirds, because I see my name and it's driving me nuts. Don't worry about it. It happens to the best of us. I love you. I cannot take you home because I have a husband. But there you go. Now we're talking, baby, loud and damn clear. And this is what I call directing on the spot. Okay? So, yeah, well, I mean, critics.
Yeah.
Like my father used to say, critics, they hate themselves. I take it with a grain of salt when I read a review.
Yeah.
You take it with a grain of salt. I think it's remarkable for any director anywhere to work with two actors the way you did. Period.
And it's true. It's like different things happen. This is always the case with any film, that it's like sometimes the response is going to be good and sometimes it's going to be bad. The film is always the same, no?
Right.
And you know what film you made. That's like so important, to have some sense of the film you made, and to not let that get too caught up in other people's responses. And
do you have behind the scenes clips?
Yeah.
It would be fun to see some of that.
Yeah.
You got to think about that. I'm not giving you an idea. You're a director. You know what you're doing. But, the behind the scenes is so exquisite.
Yeah.
And like I said, this is a process between two actors. It's like people want to see how, because it kind of wonders, Paz, how do you work with the actors? Like I keep hearing, like, the sense of freedom, the sense of space, the sense of privacy, being willing to play and all that. But like I said, actors, we want to feel safe. You have to create that atmosphere of trust, so actors can deliver their best. And you seem to do that with your eyes closed. Expectations with the movie. What do you think right now, as you feel today about, forget about what happened yesterday, forget about Costa Rica and some critics over there, the people loving it, people saying, oh, this is black and white. People love it in New York. I loved it. So what do you think now of your film, present time, I Am?
I'm very proud of the film. I think I'm very proud of us for having, you know, made it in this very simple way and for having finished it. And the film says a lot of things I really believe, and I really, yeah. So I'm very proud of the film. I have no idea what's going to happen. I think it's invited to a few festivals.
Right.
And it's gotten good response from festivals and from critics. So I don't know. We'll just see. It's very early days.
It's very early days. A big challenge right now. The most difficult thing about it. And I don't know, Ryan, how long do we have left? I'm sorry, but I keep seeing the timer. There you go. You see, I'm not so lost in translation. I know exactly what I'm doing. Even though I look a little off, I'm not stupid. Just on the record, I want to make that very damn clear. The most difficult thing about the film, getting this done, Paz, what was the biggest lesson for you internally?
I think maybe that sometimes it's good to take your time.
Good.
Yeah, sometimes it's good to take our time. We're like rushing around so much, and we're so worried about our careers and, you know, and sort of getting there very fast, getting to some place. And you need to take your time. You need to feel things through and be softer with yourself. And yeah, and sometimes take your time when you need it.
Well done, well said. I think we covered pretty much it. Now we're going to do a second round in Spanish. You see, when we can speak two languages is what we do. We brag. So everybody, thank you for watching. I want to thank Nacho Guevara, our photographer, my dear friend. He's going to be snapping some pictures at the end. Esteban Quesada Vizcaíno, I love you, baby. Barbara Jimenez, you're my girl. And everybody else, Gloria Messer, Ryan, Freddie, and everybody else who helps me on the weekly basis. Thank you for watching, and I will see you